Hi there, everybody. Kirk Hamilton here. And at Kotaku, we don't always play the same game, but there's one game that a whole lot of us play a whole lot of, and that game is Blizzard's competitive multiplayer shooter Overwatch. So we thought that we would make a few videos where we just kind of talk about what's new in the game, what we're thinking, what we've been playing this week, and that sort of thing. This week I'm joined by two Kotaku staffers. We have Cecilia D'Anastasio from the New York office and Nathan Grayson from out in San Francisco. So,
hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I thought we just would maybe kick off by talking a little bit about who each of you are maining these days. Cecilia, why don't we start with you? Who are you maining these days in Overwatch?
Oh man, Roadhog. Roadhog forever.
Yes.
Nice. What do you think about Roadhog? Why have you been playing him?
You know, I love the hook. It's such a power move. It's a really fun way to assert your dominance over other players.
It is. I was having an argument with somebody on Twitter about what the most satisfying thing to do in Overwatch was, and I was saying that hooking Tracer or out of the mech suit D.Va as Roadhog is one of the most satisfying things that you can do. But yeah, do you think, I saw they're adjusting the hook a little bit in the patch. Do you think that the hook is fair play, Cecilia?
Yeah, of course.
I feel like there are times where I get hooked by that thing in the most ridiculous ways, like in ways that just don't make any sense. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just being salty because I don't like getting killed by Roadhog.
You mean when Roadhog's like hiding around the corner and just comes out and gets you?
Yeah, there are times where I'll watch a replay and it just feels like the hook goes through a wall or does something just like that a hook should not be able to do.
When I was playing on Eichenwald earlier, if that's how you say it, I don't actually know. But when I was playing on the map earlier today, I did literally hook someone through a wall. They were like on top of a little castle banister thing, and I saw their head peeking out and hooked them, and it went through the wall and yanked them right through. So that does still happen despite the rebalancing.
It definitely happens. That happened to me just this morning. I was playing a little bit at work. But, I mean, I don't mind because I main Roadhog, but...
right, it's cool.
The thing that I like about Roadhog is I mainly main D.Va still, and Roadhog and Reinhardt both, but especially Roadhog is so good for charging up D.Va's ult that every time I see him, I kind of wait till he tries to hook somebody else, and then I just sit there shooting him for a while because he has so much health, and my ult just charges slowly, and it's a beautiful feeling, just that like snick as it charges. So I like Roadhog in that way. But then whenever I'm out of my mech suit, I try to avoid him because I know he's gonna try to hook me. Just because having played Roadhog, I know how fun it is to hook an out of mech D.Va.
Yep.
So Nathan, who are you maining these days?
So one of them actually is Roadhog. I really like playing Roadhog, and actually I think at this point he officially has my most played time.
Oh, nice! But, he's at the top of your list.
Yeah, but second most played is Pharah, who I really like playing as her because for one, my like first person shooter as a child was Tribes. So anything with a jetpack and rockets is like, that's in my wheelhouse. But also I really like her because she's so good at throwing everybody else off their game. If you get behind the enemy's front line and then use your E, everyone goes flying every which direction, and they're like, for a few seconds, it's like, oh crap, we gotta like get back together and everything. And if your team is on point, then they'll just demolish the other team when they're all out of formation. So it's just like a really nice feeling to be like, I caused that. I made the chat.
Man, I find, especially lately, this last week when I've been playing, there have been so many times. I think, Cecilia, when you and I were playing on Friday, this was happening. There would just be a Pharah who would get behind our line and just mess us up, and nobody could counter this. It was multiple times. Just I think if a Pharah player is really good at moving around, there's kind of no good counter unless you have a really good sniper on your team, or McCree or something.
Depending on like how high up she's going, a good Roadhog.
Roadhog. That's what I was thinking. Like,
counter.
You say it's satisfying to hook a out of suit D.Va, but in sky ulting Pharah,
man. That is true. There is nothing better than well, actually, the only thing better than hearing Justice Reigns from a is hearing die when Reaper tries to ult and then dies. They're all satisfying, but those are probably the two most satisfying to me anyway.
Kirk, who are you maining?
I think still D.Va mostly, though nowadays D.Va has become so popular because she's so much better than she used to be that there are a lot of games where if I start a game, I'm pretty magnanimous. If somebody else has already picked D.Va, I usually play Soldier 76 in that case, and I've been having a lot of fun with Soldier. Soldier 76 is good, man. I remember in Patricia's initial unexplained ranking of characters, which the idea was to rank the characters and not explain it. She ranked Soldier 76 fairly low for whatever her own reasons are. And now that I've played the game a lot, I think Soldier 76 is awesome. I would have, in my own underexplained list, I would have ranked him much higher. He's a good character, despite being the most boring ass, like playing as the most boring sort of.
Well, right. I mean, I think that's why Patricia ranked him so low for the most part. Is that was the time before he like became Overwatch's signature dad. So.
Right.
It's like he's kind of a boring dude and, whatever.
Yeah, one of these weeks she can come on and explain. Maybe her thinking has changed. But yeah, I like him. I put a GIF of this on Twitter. There's no better feeling than counter sniping a Widowmaker as Soldier 76, especially if you can do it with your rocket from just like across the whole map and just like nailing it right in there. It's a very good feeling. It's very satisfying. So there are changes coming, a lot of changes coming, and that's the other thing we should hit today. I looked through, Nathan, I saw your post where you covered the big changes, which are the big changes coming to Mercy and
May.
Who else?
Yep. Finally.
And May is getting a slight buff, and then Genji is getting a kind of significant nerf.
Yes.
Which I'm cool with. I guess I'm wondering what the two of you think of those. Cecilia, you go first. What do you think of the changes that are coming?
I play a lot of May, and I know she's annoying, and I'm not sorry.
No, you shouldn't be.
I'm really
That's
not.
the whole
No,
idea.
I'm so excited. I think, Nathan, I read in your post that her ult is going to be bigger now, so it can trap more people in it. I really like that, not just because you throw May's ult in, and then you can sort of just shoot them with her icicle gun, but because that's the kind of move that takes a lot of coordination with your team. And that's the kind of move where you like hit someone up over voice chat and like you get 3 people to ult at the same time. I feel like that's like what the game's kind of about. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, I hear you. We were having some of that when we were playing last week with my friend Mike was playing as Zarya, and we were because Zarya's ult is a little similar to May's. They both are kind of ults that immobilize a whole team or a group of people, and they pair really well with an ult like Diva's or really any of the kind of destructive ults or Junkrats or something.
Especially.
And it was really fun.
Yep.
Oh man, yeah, definitely. And coordinating that, I think one time we finally coordinated it right and pulled it off, and it worked. I think it worked. It was really satisfying.
No, you can get like full team wipes on that stuff, and when you have that moment, then it's just like huge momentum shift.
Yeah, and everybody cheers. Nathan, what do you think of the changes that are?
So I think they're mostly good. I still haven't played much of. I've only been playing on the PTR today, and mostly to just try out the new map. The only character who actually had significant changes happen to them that I've tried out is May. The ult definitely works better now. I actually threw it at a bad point and kind of missed where I was aiming, and still managed to get a triple kill off of it. So like it's. She's definitely better, and I like that because I really like playing May and hadn't got to for a while. So it's like having to remember how to use my ice walls and stuff. I was like, where should I put this? I guess over here. Yeah, that makes sense.
The hardest tactical decisions of the game.
I know.
Because it's such a fine line between because it's such a fine line between making a good defensive move and then just making your whole team infuriated at you.
Yeah, but like no.
Yep. Yeah, there have definitely been times where our May has ruined my Diva ult, and I've raged so much. And I mean, and I always appreciate it. It's actually very fun to team with a really good May, but it drives me nuts when that happens.
Yeah.
So Nathan, you've been trying out the. All of the patch stuff, I guess, just today. Did you notice a change in Genji? Because the Genji nerf has been very controversial.
No, I have not played much Genji myself on the new server or on the test server.
But when you're playing against
him, so the Genji that I was mostly coming up against was pretty capable. So he was still doing well. But yeah, I mean, I felt like he was stoppable. It wasn't like this, because you would have some moments, I think, pre-patch where. You'd come up against the Genji and be like, what do we really do here? But a lot of that was also in regards to people coordinating well. Like, I think Genji was really strong pre-patch because people knew what to do with him. So they'd be like, okay, let's wait until Genji's ult is up and then coordinate our ult so he can run in and clean shot. And if you don't have a team that's doing that, then even pre-patch, Genji was like good, but not unstoppable, like a lot of people seem to think he was. And so I haven't really come up against a team that coordinated yet, so I can't say for sure. But I mean, yeah, he feels like if you know what you're doing against him, especially like with someone like May now, he's beatable. I do want to try him out in terms of like Because I worry that some of the ways that they sort of changed his movement might not just bring him back down to earth, but make him feel clunky. There was something really natural about the way that his movements chained together before. And now he like can't pair, I guess, like his jump and his dash. It's like that just seems clunky.
Yeah.
That's like,
or I think you can't sneak off a melee attack and then do his dash really quickly. I feel like it's a little bit similar to the situation with Torbjorn before they nerfed him, where at the higher levels, I think actually with Torbjorn at the higher levels, it wasn't as much of an issue as it was at the lower levels, where this way it seems like it's the other way around. The real Genji problem has been at the pro level, which of course has been controversial, but I notice it in games when I play. I don't know, Cecilia, do you notice that Genji seems a little too tough in just regular games?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm excited for the nerf, but reading through the patch notes this morning, definitely seemed like maybe they're nerfing him a little too much.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how people react and just how the play works. You can always tell, I think, really immediately, like when they nerfed Widowmaker too much and everyone stopped playing Widowmaker, and usually it's pretty clear. And they've been so responsive. It's been really fun to watch them take this weird game that must be so hard to balance and actually really aggressively pursue true balance, which I'm sure they'll never fully achieve, but they're pretty close considering how weird and different every character is. I've always been really impressed with Blizzard's ability to do that.
I was really interested in getting rid of that one checkpoint. Which map was that on, Nathan?
Gibraltar.
Oh, on Watchpoint. Yeah, on Watchpoint Gibraltar.
What was the reasoning behind that?
So they had put that checkpoint in initially to correct for some balancing issues on the map. And then they ended up changing up, like, I forget exactly how they changed it, but they changed something near, I think, the start of the map, so that having that extra point there was no longer necessary. Because originally the map didn't have that extra point. It was just kind of a stopgap, sort of like, until we balance this well in a different way, we're going to have this here to sort of correct a little bit. And they're like, yeah, it turns out the way that we rebalanced it fixed the problem, so we don't need it.
It has always seemed like a weird checkpoint, and it's kind of a weird choke point on the map. So yeah, that'll be interesting. I like that map in general. I think I like playing D.Va on that map. Actually, there's a lot of cool places you can fly up to and then down to.
Rain down, damage, or like pitter patter people. Yeah, it's really annoying.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think we should wrap up. But this was our first regular Overwatch check-in. We'll probably be doing a lot more. So that was a lot of fun. Cecilia and Nathan, thank you guys for hanging out.
Totally.
All right, and we'll see everybody soon.